Welcome back to the Muster Point, the podcast where we try and shock you with stories from the squadron bars, then make you cry with heartfelt stories from the front lines. I'm Stu Mendelson, ex-Royal Engineer and current pain in the arse for politicians.
And I'm Steve Black, former 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, current tea drinking, biscuit dunking champion. If you can brew it, I'll drink it.
Today we're talking about life in the block, from the bullshit and boring to the crazy parties when the Sergeant Major ended up naked and covered in glow sticks.
Not just life in the block, this episode is also focused on the events of June the 6th, 1944, better known as D-Day.
That's right, it's been 81 years and the beaches are still covered with evidence from the day.
Imagine the reaction of the German that noticed the Allied Armada as it appeared on the horizon. It's probably the same as Chizzard when he was asked to buy a round in the pub.
This is the Muster Point. We are the voice of veterans that want to share memories, slag off the other regiments, and collectively destroy the infamous RAF Reg. Hello.
Hello. How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. I'm all lost and confused.
Well, it's been a hectic month, really, isn't it, for us? We've been flat out, but we're back.
What you been doing? Well, no, you've had a busy last week, haven't you?
Yeah, but I'm saying the last few weeks we had all the VE Day stuff, and then I was invited to Buckingham Palace through the Royal Tank Regiment Association for the Not Forgotten Association's annual garden party.
Yeah.
Me and my wife went. There was quite a lot of tankies there, actually.
Was there?
Well, there was a lot of tank regiments and the following associations since all the amalgamations. So there's probably about 15 of us.
Was there? How did you get an invite to that?
Just through the association, just being a member of the Tank Regiment Association. They randomly pick names, and they like new faces going every year.
Yeah.
So it's good for new people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think years gone by, it was the same people going every year, and they want new people. So yeah, I went and met some interesting people.
Go on, who did you meet? Any famous faces?
I did. I stood there at well, in a bar because there weren't no drink, but I was stood there trying to get a glass of lemon juice, or lemonade, sorry. And Tony from the Bill, remember Big Tony?
Yeah.
He walked past. I went, I know you, and he went,
well, he said that to you.
No, I said, he goes, you're that bald bloke off the podcast. And I went, yes. I said to him, I know you, don't I? He went, go on. And I went, you're Tony off the Bill. He went, yeah, that'd do. I think his name's Graham.
What was he doing there?
There were just loads of celebrities.
Is he still classed as a celebrity?
Well, it's Tony. I don't know what he does now. I think he's about 73 now. I think I googled.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know. Tony Stamp, that was his name.
Tony
Bill.
Stamp.
I think his name's Graham Cole or Coleman, something like that. But really nice bloke. He had time for me, and my mate Mick, who I went with. And Dr. Hillary walked past. I went, hello, Dr. Hillary.
You were very friendly with all these people then.
She'll be proud of me. Normally I don't say boot to a goose. But he come over, he shook my hand. I went, this is my wife. So I shook her hand. I went, this is my old troop leader, because I bumped into my old troop leader there.
Did Dr. Hillary ask you to do a cough and drop for him?
No, but he checked my prostate. So
in Buckingham Palace?
Yeah, in Buckingham Palace. He's a good bloke. Foxy, I spoke to him, mentioned the Muster Point, and I gave him the details. I said, it'd be nice for you to Pop along, yeah. Come and have a brew. Put your money in the tin.
I've lost my show notes.
Oh, no. Who else was it? I didn't speak to Vanessa Phelps, but she was there. Anthea Turner. Yeah. I met a couple of... On the train there was these two blokes from the Yorkshire Regiment. And I said to my missus, we'll follow them when we get off the train.
Yeah.
I'd been there the week before with you, because we got off at Green Park.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got off, and they was looking at me. I went, I'm going to follow you. They went, well, judging by your accent, we'll follow you. So got to talk to them. They'd done this thing called... the VE Day to France hard routine walk or something.
All right. That sounds absolutely disgusting.
It was. They went from Richmond in Yorkshire, I think it was Richmond, to somewhere in France, and they done it in hard routine. So they had to carry everything.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so all their rations, water, everything.
Where did they sleep?
Wherever they could.
Really?
Yeah.
And who was this?
Let me find them. I should have got this sorted before I started, really. But anyway, just a couple of blokes, really nice blokes, and they've done a thing last year. I think they've done the Yorkshire Free Peaks last year, and they're going to try and do something every year.
By the way, Steve, sorry, he's just joined and he ain't coming through the thing properly. This is why I've been preoccupied. So we've got a third host today.
Oh, who is it?
Can you hear hear us?
Hello.
Sleachy!
Sleachy!
Hey. Hello. My name's Graham from Birmingham City Council.
I don't know why it's not coming through.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, brilliant.
So
Right.
Sleachy's here.
Yeah,
So
Hello.
that was a nice little surprise.
it was, yeah.
For you.
That threw me right out.
And then, right, what were you saying?
Right, so I went-
Steve went to Buckingham Palace the other day, didn't he? Did
Yeah.
you know that?
I went to Buckingham Palace. I got invited to the Not Forgotten Associations.
Oh yeah, you see Tony from the Bill.
Yeah, I see Tony from the Bill, Dr. Hillary, and Foxy, Jason Fox. And then, but before that, I bumped into these two lads, ex-Yorkshire Regiment, Lee Holmes and Doug Lincoln.
Yeah.
And they've just done a charity walk. It was 7 days. They walked from the Green Howard Museum in Richmond, Yorkshire,
Yeah.
to the Green Howard Memorial in Crépon. Is that you say it in France?
Crépon.
Crépon. But they did this walk, hard routine, so they had to carry everything with them. They've got a Facebook page called the Hard Routine Charity Tour. If anyone wants to sponsor them, you can still sponsor them. Getting to good charities.
Did you say they were Green Howards?
Yeah. Well, they're Yorkshire
Yeah,
Regiment. But
yeah. We used to call them the Brown Howards.
why is that?
Fuck knows.
Just to piss them
But
off.
I knew they were fucking decent lads. I knew a couple of lads when I was at ITC. One of them was called Elsie, fucking hard bastard. And I remember was in a pub in Catterick, and at the bottom of the bar there's like a brass pole where you put your feet on. Stood there with Elsie, and he's fucking massive. And he goes, I think I've trod in dog shit. I was like, let's have a look. And I said, no, it's mud, mate. And he goes, no, I think it's dog shit. And he scrapes it off his shoe, put it in his mouth, and went, no, it's definitely dog shit. So there's the Brown Howards for you. Good lads, though. Good lads.
When I was in phase 1, one of the section commanders, McCormick, his surname was, he was Green Howards. He was all right. We had another bloke. We had a Fusilier. You was a Fusilier, weren't you? And his name was Donofy. I don't know what battalion he was.
Right. I know Stevie Don well. I know him.
Good bloke.
Was he like smallish, but he had a big head, blonde hair.
He used to say that he only drinks tea and snake bite. Don't drink water.
Yeah, yeah. Stevie Don was a lance jack when I got to battalion. He's a decent footballer.
Right.
Yeah, I know Steve. Yeah, he's a right Geordie lad.
He beasted me once because I called him Corporal Dorothy. His name was Donofy. So I got beasted for that. His wife worked it was a Bassingbourne. His wife worked in the laundry there. She was really nice. She always used to make sure that she's go, I hope my husband's not being nasty to you. Come and tell me if he is.
Yeah.
He would 100% be a shit to the Crows, definitely.
Yeah. No, he was all right. He was
quality.
I got on well with him.
So is Foxy coming down?
Well, I told him to. I said make sure you bring a couple of quid for the tin.
What did you tapped him on the shoulder, didn't you?
Yeah, I tapped him. I snuck up behind him. Fucking special forces, my ass.
Yeah.
Didn't even see a big fat tank. I tapped him on the shoulder. I went, hello, Mr. Fox. And he turned around and he went, hello. And I said, hello, mate, I'm Steve Black. And I told him what we do. And he shook me hand. He said, no, that sounds good. He goes, oh, if I remember, I'll give it a look and I'll give you one of our cards.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So,
and you met a Royal Engineer officer, didn't you? Called him a wedgehead.
Yeah, I said there's some like Nig, second left. No, I think he was a lieutenant actually.
Yeah.
Looks about 17 years old.
Yeah.
But I said to him, do you know Stu Mendelsohn? He went, who? But no, I said, why are you called wedgeheads? He went, I don't know, I've never heard of it.
Fucking sprog. Yeah. Sprog officers, man.
I told him about the muster point, and he was like, oh, can I have the details? So I give him a card, so he's going to listen to the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I bumped into one of my old troop leaders, T-Dog, we used to call him. Little Irish bloke. He was a legend. Like everyone loved him. He was like one of the lads, proper decent troop leader.
Yeah.
But and went out for a beer with him after. So
nice.
Him and his brother Bill. So no, just a nice time.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Well, anything else? Didn't you go to All Tanked Up?
Before All Tanked Up, I went to France.
He's been on a right mission. He's gone AWOL pretty much.
Been on a tank off.
Yeah, well. No, I went to this weekend. I went to down near Eastbourne, that sort of way. One of my mates, he does a thing every year called All Tanked Up.
Yeah.
And it's basically they hire a field, set up camper vans and tents, and just get on the piss for a weekend.
That's quality, man.
Yeah.
There's one. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It's called Fire Mission. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's a gunners one, and it's for gunners only. And it's getting fucking quite big now. But the only thing is, it's for gunners only, and you're not allowed to take your missus or anything like that, or wives and girlfriends. Which, you know, some might say that's a good thing, but you know,
It's going to be messy.
I saw a picture of your mate Chris Bryant on Facebook at this all tanked up, and I want to know. I don't know if you've seen Chris Bryant Sleachy, but he's got a mullet, which is bad. But then this picture, he was wearing dungarees and Crocs with socks. Just want to get your thoughts on that, Sleachy, mate.
right? Sleechy's thoughts, Crocs, socks, and mullets. The mullet, yeah, I can cope with that, but fucking Crocs and socks, man. I'm like, what does he think he is, like in an Australian rock band?
That's exactly. He looked like that Benson Boone, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hacking bit of
kit. Fair play. Horses for courses, I suppose, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
As long as you ain't wearing a Villa top, we'll be all right.
Yeah. There was a few Villa fans there, though.
Oh, were there?
Yeah, Peck, you know, your mate Peck.
Oh, yeah.
Him and his brother. Mike, I think his name was. He was 2-6 Engineer Regiment.
Okay.
He's based in Hona. And
yeah. That's where Stoner was, Hona.
Was you in Cellar, Sleachy?
Oh, no, I was in Hona.
Oh, you was in Hona? Oh, right.
I was in Hona, yeah.
Because we was reminiscing about all the pubs and places.
Brass houses.
Places people used to go. And then we was talking about Batters, because a lot of the armoured regiments used to go to Batters all the time. So we was talking about Medicine Hat and my favourite place in the world, Medicine Hat.
Yeah, I heard you talking about Medicine Hat before, like saying like a lot of the blokes used to go, I'm not going down there. What's the point of coming all the way to Canada? And that fucking Medicine Hat was that, because we used to go pretty much every year, being armoured. And Medicine Hat was the place to be. Do you remember the sin bin?
Yeah, sin bin. Yeah, the O'Reilly's,
sin bin.
The club.
Yeah, the gas lantern, Cadillacs. I remember fucking quality was in this. God, this must have been like 1990. I was with two Scousers, and they were proper. One of them was called Cold Childs, proper fucking scally geezer, and the other one was a little called Reedy, and was in that. Fucking can't remember what the bar was called, but it's full of fucking like cowboy, you know, Indians, and you know, it's proper local bar. And I remember me and Carl were stood at the bar, and little fucking Reedy was hanging around. People walking past us, and Reedy looks up at Carl, and no, this like big fucking Indian walks past us. FBI, fucking big Indian, walks past us, and Reedy goes up to Carl and goes, "Here, Carl," and he goes, "What do you want to be? You fucking knobhead?" And he went, "That fella just growled at you." Some fella just fucking growled at you. Yeah, crazy place. I love Canada. Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant place.
So then what else were you up to?
Who, me?
What you been up to? You been painted any walls yet, Sleachy?
Well, I only work three days a week, 4 days a week. I'm semi-retired, like, so I just pick and choose my jobs these days, which is nice.
That's what. That's what Mickey Flanagan used to say, wasn't it? Because he started out as a painter and decorator, and he was like, if I can't live off 4 days' work a week, then I ain't interested in working.
Exactly, completely agree. But what I find I do since I've stopped working fucking Fridays and Saturdays and that, I'm like doing 5 days work into 4.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? But it's all right though.
Hero, isn't he, Steve? Fucking hero,
legend.
Fucking smashing it, lads.
Well, I've got I haven't got show notes. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we've got today's topic, if you like. It was originally it was about life in the block.
Yeah.
But this episode's going to go out on June the 6th, D-Day. So we want to throw anything you got on D-Day. I've got a few little bits and pieces, so we'll bring that up. But we've had a few people sending stuff in.
Okay.
So I keep mentioning wedgehead.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the term wedgehead, Sleachy, for an engineer?
Yeah, I did hear the term wedgehead, but I've no idea what it means though. I've had a look and I can't find out what it means, but I've definitely heard it.
Yeah. Well, Pud, Stu's mate, he's sent me a voice note, so I'll play that. And
he's called Pud because he always had 2 puddings, no matter where he went. And the latest bit of information, he took his, I think, how old's his daughter, Ellie? Ellie must be about 7, took her out on a run, or rather she took him out on a run because she was having to wait for him at every turn.
Bless him.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
It is his voice
Bless
note.
him.
Good morning, Mr. Steve Black. I hope you're well. So this is taking it right back to the beginning. I think obviously the term for the engineers, wedge heads. So I did a bit of digging with a couple of lads who are ex-engineers, and there's a couple of lads who have done full service of 22 years where I work. Obviously, can't give that away. Sneaky beaky. So the
Sneaky
term wedge
beaky.
guns, apparently the recoil on the guns, they're on a hill or something under fire, and with basically the guns on the wheels were rolling back. So unfortunately, they had to use the dead bodies of the artillery in the Second World War or the First World War, whatever it is, to wedge into these artillery guns to keep them still. But because the engineers back in the day were a lot bigger, as in were probably fed a lot more than the infantry were, the infantry guys were too slim to keep the guns still. So in the end, they used the bodies of the engineers, because they were thicker and bigger, to wedge in the wheels of the guns. So as they were firing, they stayed still and obviously hit the target. But yeah, that's where the term wedge head comes from. Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, to be fair. Wouldn't want to be one of the blokes on the fucking floor, but hey-ho. Here's what it is. Gents, take care. Hope you're well.
There you go. Are you happy now?
I don't believe
Sounds
it.
about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I say I don't believe. I'm not calling him a liar anyway, because that's what I heard. But it just seems so far
Duty
fetched.
rumour, isn't it?
I just can't imagine. Well, when the shit hits a fan, you do whatever. But
Yeah.
I've heard people using bodies instead of body bags to build up trenches and stuff. So
Yeah, you use whatever's to improvise, adapt, and overcome.
yeah, but to use it, well, I don't know. You got to do what you got to do, at the end of the day.
I've got an icebreaker question for this episode for you both.
Right.
So pin your ears back, gents. So
Go.
In the theme of D-Day, so what would you have been doing on D-Day based on your military track record? Should we start with you, Steve?
Well, I was in the tank regiment.
Okay.
I don't think there was many tank regiment on D-Day because they'd been fighting. Well, I think Second Royal Tank Regiment were fighting in Italy at the time.
Yeah.
They was known as the D-Day Dodgers.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be that you're in the tank regiment. It's just based on the theme of your service.
Well, I've got anchors tattooed on my arm.
Okay.
I'd like to think I'd be driving a landing craft.
Okay, nice. Do you drive a landing craft?
I'd drive anything.
Okay.
If I flew a plane, I'd drive a plane.
What about you, Sleachy?
Well, my lot would have been the Royal Warwick Fusiliers. They landed on D-Day. We still have their the battlers on our colours.
Yeah.
Still gets carried today. But yeah, I'd have been fucking foot slogging it, I should imagine.
Nice.
Getting shot in the dick or something, knowing me.
What beach were they on?
Hey?
Do you know what beach they was on?
Sword?
Oh, right, yeah.
Was it Sword?
Yeah.
Think so. But I know them. Basically, all the Fusiliers, the Warwicks, the Lancashires, the City of London, and the Northumberlands, all on D-Day.
Yeah, with their budgies on their
head. Oi, Budgie, it's a hackle. I knew Budgie was going to come up somewhere.
Salt Beach was where they had the mad Scottish piper, I think, playing.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I did hear. In fact, I was looking this morning a decent tanky story, but it's on my phone, so I can't switch back to it. But basically, there was a commander of three Churchill tanks that managed to get the tanks onto the beach, and they fought all the way through. But he says a very fucking friendly, jolly German popped up out of a hedge and fired what are they called? A Panzerfaust rocket straight into the turret of the Churchill, blew his foot off. Said everyone fucking bomb burst out the tank, and he was lay on the side. All hell was breaking loose around him, and his name was Andrew Sinning, and he heard one of his mates say, "Oh fucking hell, poor old Andrew. He was a good bloke, he was." And he went, "What do you mean was? I'm still alive." It's like, come on, fucking help me. But he was a commander of 3 Churchills, you know. But they had those really high hedgerows, and apparently it was just a nightmare for the tanks, just getting blammed all over the place. But fair play to the tankies on that one, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, and that must have been we all know it's horrific at the end of the day. You know, you can't imagine what it was like.
I've got to say, especially when probably 7 out of 10 of them have only been out of training about 6 weeks, hadn't they, as well?
Yeah, even the senior ranks, I think, hadn't seen any action. You know, they just got promoted quickly.
Some of them hadn't even hit puberty, had they?
Nah.
Exactly. I think you could get on the landing craft as a private, and by the time you've got on top of the beach, you've been made up to fucking platoon sergeant.
Yeah. my brother-in-law Dog, he said he listened to episode 12, and we mentioned that all gingers are called ginge, and he said that we had one called biscuits because someone decided gingers smelt of piss and biscuits.
Okay.
So T-Dog, my old boss, when I was talking to him at Buckingham Palace, he said he used to love playing off Grand Willie Bum Tag. He was a captain, and he said he was telling his people at work, he's all, like, because he works, he's like an advisor or whatever it is, working with very senior people, and they just like, what you want about? And he's like, oh, we used to play all the time in the tank regiment. But he used to sleep
Willie
with his
Bum Tag.
off Grand Willie Bum Tag.
You've heard us talk about that, Sleachy. You're one of the old and bold listeners, mate.
Oh, it's quality. I've never played that. I've never heard about it, but I would definitely have got involved in that.
Yeah. Don't start now, mate.
I was asking all the young lads at Buckingham Palace. No one's heard of it. My missus was daring me to do
do
people.
Do it to Foxy.
Yeah. He was stood by a lake. I could have done him in a lake.
Yeah.
SBS, he would have loved it.
He would have loved it. He'd have probably drowned you. Give you like chokehold or something.
The death touch. Or something.
Death touch.
Yeah, judo chop. Bottle sent me one. He said he had a wank on stag in Afghan. He was in the front cab of a Viking, and he thought the seat next to him was full up with Bergens and day sacks. So he had a wank. Turns out it wasn't. It was the interpreter asleep.
Oh,
Did he take him home with him afterwards at the end of the tour?
Probably, yeah.
You're mine now. I've wanked on you.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Someone else mentioned. Actually, it was my boss T-Dog and my mate Bill Skilling said when we was in Afghanistan, they'd heard the podcast where we were talking about interpreters and stuff, and we had a Gurkha attached to us. He was our medic.
Yeah.
He transferred from the Gurkha rifles to the medics, and our interpreter, there was some ICOM chatter, and he ignored it, didn't say nothing. So the Gurkha said to the boss, we're going to get ambushed any minute now. And then next thing you know, the interpreter's come out the back of the Viking with helmet and body armour on and hid underneath the Viking. Next thing you know, we got ambushed. So that interpreter got sacked.
Yeah, got fucked off.
Yeah.
I want to. So if you could turn your Bluetooth off, Steve, so I can connect. I've got. So Sleachy, you're a musician, aren't you?
Well. Yeah, I suppose so.
You look like one.
I can cheers, mate. Peace. I can play pretty much anything really, pick it up and play it but I'm not very very good at any of it.
Yeah. Well, so I've actually organised. So do you know this not forgotten? Yeah. What's his name? Bross from Goss.
Matt Goss from Bross.
Matt Goss.
So I've got the song, right? So we're going to play it, or we're going to play part. Well, we won't play the whole thing because I can't be bothered to sit here for 4 minutes. But we'll play a bit of it. And then maybe Sleachy can give some feedback from a professional's point of view. And then I've got a song to compare it to. So a bit of bit of promotion. So a good friend of mine, Jack, at work, his band has just released a song. So we're going to compare them.
Okay.
Right. So first up, we've got, who is it? Matt Bross from Goss.
Matt Goss from Bross.
Matt Goss from Bross. Yeah. Why can't I ever get that right? No. Fucking retarded, and I.
Wasn't your sister a fan of Bross?
I don't know, was she?
I don't know.
Still here, discreetly wipes away her tear and goes upstairs to make his bed again. When a family is afraid to feel because the pain is way too deep. They've been holding their breath. Someone they love has left. Please come home and give them peace. Still waiting for you to come.
So what are our thoughts on that? Go on, Sleachy. I saw you struggling to listen there, but
yeah, I kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah,
not my cup of tea, but I think the reasons why he's done it is fucking fair play, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's about time people started.
He sung it at the Buckingham Palace party, and it was weird because there was no music. He just sung it.
Oh yeah.
And there's 1,000 people sat there.
Was it good? Was it?
It was, fair play. And I think he said his dad done 38 years.
Yeah.
I think it was the artillery. I think he said dad was his granddad before the Second World War. So he's got a lot of respect for the armed forces.
Yeah.
And he says it's not about the ones who died. It's just about everyone.
Yeah.
The ones who are still serving. And fair play to him.
Well, we like that.
Yeah. I really like that, what he said. He said it's for those who have served, those still serving, and those, it's for everyone. So,
yeah.
And he spent most of his life living in Los Angeles and that, been a film star and stuff, and he's still doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
So fair play to him, I reckon.
Yeah.
Happy days. Right, and here's a second one. It's called Habsburg Ferrari, and it's by Sora Vale. Let's know what you think. This may be a bit more of you, Sleachy.
Let's have a listen.
What do you reckon to that one?
I didn't hear a thing.
Didn't hear a thing. What do you reckon?
No,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
like that.
You like that?
To me, that had like a 90s
Yeah.
feel to it.
Yeah.
Sort of 1 minute, I felt like, Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I
Psychedelic
love
sort
it.
of chilled out. I'll send you the link, Sleachy, and you can have a listen in
Yeah.
your own time. And
Yeah, send it to. I'm always on the lookout for new music all the time. So yes, send it to me because I'd like to hear that.
Oh, check out Block 33. You'll like that.
Block 33.
Block 30. One of my mates, he's in a band, a mod band. It's
all right,
a bit like
yeah.
the Jam.
Yeah.
That sort of
Oh,
stuff.
love it.
Yeah. They're touring at the minute, actually.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Are they that good? Are they?
They've just released an album. I think it got to number 14 in the charts, something like that.
You know,
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Same, I haven't spoken to him for years, but I messaged him when I see his.
Yeah.
I bought an album, bought an actual CD. I need a CD player now.
Yeah, who has a CD player? Armed Forces news.
Well, first of all, Spurs won the Europa League,
Yeah.
and my missus being a massive Spurs fan all of a sudden,
Yeah.
she made me watch all the celebrations. I think it was on YouTube and that, and it was impressive. Like seeing Tottenham and Edmonton, like there was a lot of people, and
Yeah.
it just made me think, what was VE Day like?
Yeah.
Because all the parties over the street parties and that, but the drinking parties, the actual parties.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of was watching that. The streets full up of people on the balconies, their windows.
Yeah.
It was a nice atmosphere. But I've got some old news as well that popped up. So a man was fined £500 for wearing military uniform without permission. He was collecting for shoe boxes for our heroes.
Okay.
Right? He was in the army, but he didn't finish phase 1.
Yeah.
The law he breached is the Uniforms Act 1894, Section 2. And military uniforms are not to be worn without authority.
Okay.
And the reason I'm bringing it out is because on Remembrance Day, a lot of people wear berets, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to.
Don't we?
The law, right? The law, it shall not be lawful for any person not serving in Her Majesty's military forces to wear without Her Majesty's permission the uniform of any of those forces or any dress having the appearance or bearing any of the regimental or other distinctive marks of any such uniform, provided that this enactment shall not prevent any person from wearing any uniform or dress in the course of a stage play performed in a place duly licensed or authorised for the public performance of stage plays, or in the course of a music hall or circus performance, or in the course of a bona fide military representation.
And what law is that under?
The Uniforms Act 1894, Section 2.
Okay.
And it just, you got this, is it We Are Blighty? They're getting a lot of bad press at the minute.
They are, yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not here to judge them. But there's a bloke you normally see, I think he's got a Mercians beret and a combat jacket on.
Okay.
But to me, he's breaking the law. But then...
Yeah, but then all the RBL blokes wear a beret, don't they?
Yeah.
And what about Remembrance?
We wore a beret the other week, so I don't know where you stand with it. But yeah, bloke was fined for it anyway, £500.
Bloody hell.
Fucking hell.
I thought I'd just...
Imagine some little copper coming up to you and saying, take your beret off.
I know, yeah.
But
But
Fuck off, mate.
This is ridiculous. How does he get nicked for that, right? Quoting some archaic law, and the bloody councils can't even enforce the Armed Forces Covenant, which is in law.
When we was at our local memorial service for VE Day, I noticed the Tory MP had a tank regiment tie on.
He did, yeah.
So I sort of give him a thumbs up, and he looked straight through me like he didn't know what I was like doing.
You're used to that, though, aren't
Yeah,
you?
true. Start talking to my missus. No, but when I googled him, and there was an article. He was in. I can't remember. I think it was Gold Beach. His granddad
Yeah.
fought on Gold Beach, and he was in the Royal Tank Regiment. And there's a picture of him with a Tank Regiment beret and a tie on.
Yeah.
And I just thought like that's not appropriate for someone who didn't serve, who's a grown man. I don't think you should be wearing the beret of another regiment. Like,
No, not at all.
Maybe he doesn't know. So when I see him, I probably see him on full star. I want to say to him like,
Wind your neck in.
T-shirt, hoodie, or whatever. But the beret and the tie, it's a bit much, I think.
See, I don't even think a t-shirt because I remember when I come out, I was at my local pub, and I got chatting to one of the locals, that older boy, and we started chatting because we both had the name Stuart. Do you know one of those ridiculous things like, "All right, Stu," and then, "All right, Stu." Yeah, one of them shit things. And anyway, so obviously he knew my story. I come out the forces and that. And I think it was a good 6 months later. Suddenly he's wearing like a Wampara t-shirt. I'm like, oh, surely he would have said, knowing my story, that he was in Wampara. And he turned around and said it was his brother's or something, and he'd let him wear it. And it was like, I don't think a Wampara or any parachute regiment bloke would go, "Oh, here you go, mate, wear my fucking regimental t-shirt."
Yeah, kids, not.
Yeah, but maybe your kids, but that's a bit different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For a politician,
yeah,
to do it, I think it's a bit much. But
because he had the 10 regiment tie on as well.
Yeah,
didn't he?
I say, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a funny one, isn't it? But I know for me, it didn't sit right with me.
Yeah. I agree with you, Steve.
Yeah, for once.
I agree with you, Steve. I think he's just been a bloating cumper, isn't he?
Yeah.
My missus wears my Fusilier t-shirts, and she got her own Fusilier hoodie.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm happy with that because I bought it for her, and she's a groupie.
Yeah.
No, I think I suppose it's different now because women are allowed, but wives, girlfriends, and stuff like that, daughters.
Yeah.
Not a problem as much, but a bloke doing it just don't sit well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be sexist on, I think, but.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
What about this Everest thing? So Al Khan's a veterans minister. Who else was there? So an old friend of mine, Kev Godlington.
Jason Fox.
No, Foxy didn't do it.
Oh, I thought he did.
No. So it was.
Was it Brian Wood?
Gareth Miller, Al Khan's, Anthony Stazika, Kev Godlington. So they basically flew, left the UK, summited Everest, and then flew back to the UK in 7 days. It's fucking horrendous, isn't it? That's such an achievement.
Bit silly, I think.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Have you ever seen that that Netflix thing with the Gurkha lad? I can't remember what his name is, but he does all, I think, 7 or whatever it is, of the highest peaks in the world, Everest.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
What's his name? He's ex-Gurkha, ex-Special Forces.
Garung?
Oh, yeah. What?
Garung, Kumar.
I know there was a Gurkha bloke that done Everest recently, and he had prosthetic legs, didn't he?
Gurkhas are just they love a mountain, don't they?
Yeah.
Another level to Gurkha, because I worked with them a few times, and I either found them to be seriously well disciplined, motivated troops, or the fucking opposite.
Yeah. But they all love a gamble, don't they? Like if you go down Folkestone and Canterbury way, where one of their units is, all the fruit machines are smashed up. Where they've gone mad on them.
Yeah, we used to see them all downtown in their shirts and blazers.
Yeah, that was it.
And their hats.
And they used to go in the shower like a Fijian with pants on.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I wonder if anyone's ever seen a Fijian's cock.
Maybe they haven't got them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they haven't. You wouldn't want to ask them, though, would you? They'd fill you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get filled in. Like, I remember the Fijians, man. Fucking hell, we had when I was a screw at Kachik, we had the very first lot of Fijians come through, and they were just brilliant. You know, they were like strong, fucking healthy, fit, disciplined. And then we got the next lot come through 13 weeks later, and they weren't as good as the first lot. And then the next lot we got was shit. And then the next lot we got were all covered in like hand tattoos and fucking. And apparently, what it was the recruiting they did. The first lot were all like doctors' sons, and you know they got the first chance to come to the British Army. But by the end, they were like gangbangers from shantytowns. We had to send loads of them got sent back.
Oh, right.
Fucking.
Because I remember we had three that I remember in my squadron, and one of them was like a stripey. So I think one was a sapper, one was a light chap, one was a stripey. But the sapper back in Fiji like outranked them.
Princes.
So it was like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just it. I mean, there weren't no issues, but it was just weird. Like
Yeah, we had like say they've got their own rank structure. They don't like women. They don't respect women. But yeah, they have princes, warriors, fishermen. They've got their own rank structure.
Yeah.
Lovely people.
They had a fucking. They had like a pecking order in the block. Like I used to go. I went in the block one night, and I found one of them, like the weakest one, and he was sat there surrounded by 15 pairs of boots.
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You go, and it turned out that all the others were just, because he was the lowest in the pecking order. He was having to do all their fucking kit. So Sleachy soon put a stop to that.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Yeah.
I've got one more bit of news. So a Royal Marine Commandos officer has been made the first Sea Lord for the first time, General Jenkins. Oh yeah, it's a bit. Apparently, I mean, none of us are Matlow, so we can't really comment. But apparently, it's a big thing. Like, it's like unsure whether a Royal Marine Commando officer can lead the Royal Navy.
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
Was he a Gaylord?
I don't know. He looks like one, but there's a picture of him.
Gaylord.
Oh, Sea Lord. So I thought it said Gaylord.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Well, fair enough. You don't get Gaylords no more. That was
Gaylord. Gaylord.
Oh, it's the best. Do you know what? I'm glad you've mentioned this. Like when we were fucking growing up, the word gay had nothing to do with being a bender, did it? Nothing. It was like if the weather was shit, it's fucking gay.
Yeah.
If someone had a shit pair of trainers on, fucking gay. If someone was just been a knob, fucking gay. But now it's like, it had nothing to do with being a bummer.
Yeah,
I want my word back. The word gay.
Let's get a petition going.
Yeah, I want my word back.
He's sad, isn't he, about that?
With the campaign.
He got well excited, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if you heard.
I've thought about it a lot, you see.
It sounds like it, mate.
This is the type of shit that occupies my brain.
Yeah, I bet your missus loves you, doesn't she? Like, fucking hell, get on that. Send Steve voice notes, you fucking twat.
Get in your shed.
Get in your shed.
Oh, you bang on there, lads. Get back in your shed, Sleachy. I'm always in there.
Yeah. Bottle sent us something.
Go on.
There's been an idea from the MOD about creating a home guard.
All right.
And the idea is to protect the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it will be similar to similar structure to the reserves, but will be separate from that. And it's to protect things like power stations, airports, and coastal hubs, where power and data cables enter the sea.
So who's gonna?
Civilians.
All right.
So to me, that sort of thing should be offered up. That should be encouraged when you're leaving the forces.
Yeah. What, like MPGS?
I don't really know what it'll be. It's a new thing, but no, I don't know. I'd imagine you get a bit of a payment for it, but that's the sort of
You'd
thing.
like to think so.
Like coastal towns.
Yeah.
Like there's not much work there, so it might be something.
Have you been a Great Yarmouth lately?
I like Great Yarmouth. Actually, it's a
shithole now.
It is, yeah. It's quite sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
or Margate.
Yeah, most of the coastal towns are a bit fucked, aren't they?
So you're right. It'd be ideal for them, wouldn't it?
There was another thing I noticed. Panorama done a documentary about the UK Special Forces killing innocent people. Don't know if you see that, Sleachy.
No, I didn't see. I don't watch news at all. I give it up. But I did hear about something like
you, mate.
Any news. Okay, it drove me to fucking death to listen to BBC News now. It was a nightmare. 2 years ago, I gave up all newspapers, any type of news. I don't listen to it at all because it's all bullshit, all jobs and narrative. And I gave up porn as well. And I tell you what, I'm not even fucking joking. It changed my life.
Oh, there we go.
Fair play.
Maybe we need to.
So basically, though, it was done so bad. You had actors pretending they're these other people. I don't know. People attached to the SAS, so I'd imagine in Corps.
Yeah.
I don't know because they've sort of there was
RAF Reg.
Yeah. But there was one example. A medic was treating a wounded Taliban fighter.
Yeah.
And a bloke from the SAS shot him with his pistol in his head. So the medic's treating him, and this bloke from the SAS just shot him point blank in the head. I don't.
Well, no, they had evidence of this, did they?
No, this just,
Oh, right.
This just people
It's just
say-
someone telling stories.
They said fuck all at the time,
Yeah.
but now all of a sudden they things like that, and it's just absolute. When I was listening to it, I thought it's bollocks. I know things can get a bit go over the top, or you get a bit carried away.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing strike ops in the middle of the night, so unfortunately people do die
Yeah.
accidentally. Doesn't make them murderers; it makes it an accident.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but I'm just some of these examples I was giving, I just thought you're talking shit.
Yeah.
And I think the SAS and the SBS and all these other people who do these strike ops, they know that if they're doing that, the backlash is the conventional army, the lads on the ground, are the ones who are going to suffer. And I don't think they would do that.
No, yeah.
Because ultimately, these special forces blokes, they come from normal regiments, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't see it happening. You are going to get a rogue soldier. I can't. And you watch it, the examples they're giving, that's what you...
And this was Panorama.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. They usually do things all right, don't they?
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Panorama at BBC. It's all bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's like that the Royal Marine geezer, was it Sergeant B?
Yeah.
When he told me, that he was doing the bloke a favour. The guy was mortally, he was dying, and he just put one in his head and said, "Shuffle off, mate." Done him a favour.
Yeah. He filmed it though, didn't he? The div.
Yeah, someone had the head cam on, didn't they?
Yeah, I think someone had that on body cam film. So he's even though he's doing the geezer a favour, he's banged to rights, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a funny subject. We've all been there, and when you're in times of conflict, things are different, aren't they?
Yeah.
You think differently.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Should we go into the main point of the show? What are we going to start with? D-Day or what's the other one?
Life in the block.
Life in the block.
I think life in the block.
Go on in.
Right. So, Bottle, he said he loved block life. He missed the block parties. And he said Dino Wright had a block party in his corridor. It was messy. I took a shit in his sink. He headbutted the radiator off the wall and flooded his room. And Daz Flowers got herpes from one of the birds from Tidworth.
Okay.
Matt Adoc, he said Donna's got his room destroyed. And I do remember this. People stuck wheat. Donna's was passed out on his bed.
Yeah.
Someone had shaved his eyebrows off, boot polished his, boot polished his face, and then got toothpaste, stuck his all over his screen on his telly and stuck Weetabix to it. He couldn't get them off because toothpaste goes like concrete.
Yeah.
So it ruined his telly. Yeah, and he misses having saloon parties in the bar.
Yeah.
Just cover ourselves. Yeah. We had a bloke called Spud. Spud was the barman, and he didn't used to eat food. He used to live off crisps.
Yeah.
And he was pissed. He was the barman, so we woke him up one day. I think we had to climb through his window to get to him, and he was asleep in bed eating Watsits.
Yeah.
He had a drawer full of them. So, my mate Damo sent me a voice note from his experience of. I'll have to click to that. Have you got any stories from life in the block, Sleachy?
Yeah, life in the block was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially as like I was a junior, so I got sent over to Germany when I was just about to turn, still 17, turn 18. I've barely been out the country myself, so I got posted over there, just like another fucking world. It was the block was just fucking chaos. The only thing about living in the block was you're always on offer to get spammed for duties.
Yeah.
That was the thing that used to piss me off. You get a knock on the someone would just burst. I remember once, me and my mate I was in a room, we was only young fucking sprogs. This fucking Landstack burst in, goes, right, someone then turned up for guard or whatever. Someone Saturday morning in Hona. Sorry lads, you're it, Si. And we were like, we were about to go out. We was going to go out for the day. And she was like, fucking hell, what do we do? I had a great idea as young genius fucking crows. Pulled his berry over the back of his head, got a can of Grolsch, tipped it all over himself, smoked about six fucking tabs, didn't do his bootlaces up, wandered up to the guard room, went, fucking hell, Sarge, I've just been dick for guard, but I've only just got in off the piss. And like the provo was like, fuck off, mate, go back. So he runs back to the blocks like that, job done. So there's ways and means to get out of it. But yeah, I love the block idea. There was loads of shit going on. There's loads of. I remember in Hona, I was on the first block on the left, and we had Scots Guards, Queen's Own Hussars, Dragoons. And I remember I got put in a room with this geezer called Hammy, and he was a fucking bit of a bully, like. But he's the kind of look after us. And I was coming into the block one day, and some fucking giant Scots Guard got hold of us, ragged us around a bit. So I was like, fucking hell, managed to escape. Legged it into the block. Hammy goes, what's the matter with you? I said, oh, some fucking guards out there. And he was like, right, show me you. Pointed out the window. He just runs out the block and just fucking fills him in. I'm like, nice one. Yeah, the block was good.
So I was, I said that I'd done my B1 out in Senalaga, and I'd done a little tour visiting some mates, and I went up to Hona, and like, just a different level up there. So they had the Ben who I was on course with. He his room they renamed the Sappers Mess, and he'd fucking like created a proper bar and that like for the sappers in the corridor to come in, and it was just pure carnage. Like the sprog, I remember fucking shouting at some sprog going like, "Who's the best squadron in the Royal Engineers?" And he's going like fucking like whatever squadron it's Hona, and it was just mental. But there was that like Sleachy said, that ultimate fear of like you could have like the rug pulled from under you at any time, like fucking like subhuman, like right, well, you're not allowed your TV, you're not allowed you got to go back to fucking counterpanes, like fucking spot inspections. It's like this is my fucking house, like
shit, yeah.
I tried the old drinking one once. Someone told me always have a can of beer open in your room. So I think next to the telly I had a can of beer, and then my troop corporal come in one Saturday. Went, "You're on guard." I was like, "What?" I checked all these. He went, "No, someone's gone sick or whatever." You know, and I was like, "I've been drinking." He went, "Well, I'm going to charge you then for drinking on duty because you're on fucking guard."
Bastards.
Yeah.
You can't win that, can you?
No.
If they want, if anyone, when you're a crowbag, if anyone from Lanchlock onwards wants you for something, you're getting ad for it, aren't you? Bastards.
I do remember, like, I think we spoke about it before, because in the UK, like, people used to fucking go home at the weekend and it was shit. But when they were like, I don't know whether there was something on or like there was everyone had to be in, and so like the blocks were full. Like, it used to be great fun. Like, just like like everyone out on the piss. It was like a stag do, wasn't it? Like every time you went out, and like barbecues out the back, just causing havoc. Like,
I don't know about your blocks in Hona, but did you have a bar? Did you have a squadron or company bars, whatever it was, in the block?
Yeah. We had attics and cellars. So our bar was underneath the block, but it was fucking great. It just I remember it being like 50 pfennigs for a shot of fucking, what's that, Asbach stuff? 50, it was like 50 pfennigs. Deutschmark for a beer, just sitting there smoking your head off.
Yeah, that's fucking brilliant.
Fucking brilliant.
Like we had, like every squadron, we had 5 squadrons, they had a squadron bar, the band had a squadron bar, the Remy had a squadron bar, I think the Clarks had one, and then you had the Naffy bars on camp. You go on a pub crawl on camp, it's brilliant.
But even when there weren't drinking involved, it was just like, I don't know, like, it was just, when I look back and think about it, as long as I weren't getting dicked for something, like, it was just like being on holiday.
Yeah.
Like, you'd like, during the week, like, you'd fucking come back to your room, like, go to the naffy. In my case, I'd get a load of crisps and that. Be sat there with my boots on my bed because I'm a proper crap out, fucking watching TV. And then, like, someone would knock on your door and be like, "Oh, well, you coming to do this?" And it's like, yeah, sound. It was just like, I don't know, just, it was good.
Yeah, there was always something going on. I remember some lads coming to us and they went, "This is where we're in fucking Hona," and they went, "You coming to the beach?" I went, "What are you talking about, beach?" And they went, "There's 3." Do you remember them?
Yeah,
they were like lakes, weren't they? But like, they're like beaches and that.
Yeah, we just drove off that half hour, fucking 3 lakes on the beach. Loads of fucking beer, get pissed, and have a doss.
Yeah. Everyone drunk drive. It's just a good place.
Do
160 miles an hour on the autobahn and crash it into a tree. But
obviously, Steve didn't do that. Did
no,
you?
I've never had a car.
No.
I couldn't trust myself.
Nor me. I was in Germany for 5 years, nearly 6 years. Never had a driving license. I used to drive myself back and forward, England to her. I never had a driving. I had an Astra once. I bought off a Remy geezer. Fucking my mates. I was in front in his Scirocco. I wasn't behind this fucking Astra. Got off the ferry in Dover. The fucking thing blew up. Bang! I mean, proper fucking blew up. Just got out, pushed it down the fucking side of the motorway, jumped in his car and fucked off. Fucking brilliant. Job done.
Love it. What else you got? Life on the block.
I've got Damo's voice message here, so you can turn me on.
I'll turn you on.
So obviously, remember the program Jackass? We used to do like little things that, like little dares and shit like that. One of them was getting a squash ball and throwing them as hard as you could at someone naked about 5 meters away. That used to be proper painful. Funnily enough, Lizzie T never took part in it. It was the only one throwing it. But people then used to up it to like the next level. And there was a time where sorry, mate. There's a time when people used to get weird pets and fucking things from like Hanover and that. Anyway, so we had a stage where people were buying like CS guns. So they were like replica guns, but you could get a clip of just CS pellets, obviously not bullets, and like the barrel was like dented or whatever and decommissioned and that. So you could fire around a CS. Anyway, it was next to the sex shop at Hanover. I remember exactly where it was. Anyway, Oz Sullivan decided one day or one weekend that he was going to go and get a CS gun, just like everyone else, and also a taser. And I can remember a rumour going around that it was like CS in people's rooms and locking them in. It's what he used to do. He used to wait for all the new lads to come in, and they're sitting there, 3 or 4 of them in a room playing the fucking PlayStation, and he used to go past their room, clock them, go to his room, get his gun, and then fire about 2 or 3 rounds of CS gas into their fucking room, and then shut the door. You used to have people like jumping out windows and stuff like that, throwing their lungs up. Anyway, I can remember going in to the drawing room, and the drawing room was about 4 meters by 4 meters. It was a tiny little drawing room, and it had like fucking old scaffolding as bars that you used to hang your clothes on to dry. Anyway, I can remember fucking doing my washing in my flat, coming out of the washing machine room / kitchen, bimbling along, like walking into my drying room, and all of a sudden, fucking door slamming shut on me. I looked around, saw Oz sitting there with a respirator on and a gun. I shit myself, scrambled to the door to try and open it, and all I heard was pop, pop, pop. And all of a sudden, the room, Oz was a big bastard. I'm 5'5". Oz is like 6 foot something and fucking made it nothing but potatoes. Anyway, he shut the door, sat in front of it. I couldn't get out, and all of a sudden, the room started filling up with CS, didn't it? I'm fucking coughing and spluttering, dying. And just as I fall onto my knees, he gets this taser out and fucking tasers me in the neck. Looking back on it, it was really fun. I've never had an experience like it. You have to pay for shit like that.
Got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah. Normally he's eating crisps when he sends voice notes. But I remember...
He was choking on saying then.
I remember because our bars, in the cellar, you had a little window, and we'd all and you just hear this pop, pop, pop. All of a sudden, the bars fill up with CS gas. It was yeah, everyone had these. Did you ever have them?
Yeah.
In Hona,
Yeah,
the CS gas guns.
The blokes used to go mad for things like CS spray gas, butterfly knives, Rambo knives, any type of thing. We had this. No one ever found out who it was, and this might happen in other units. But I remember in the block at night time, every now and then, this phantom would appear, and he was known as the defecator, and he'd turn up in your room with a fucking gas mask on, and he'd stand there and he'd go, "I am the defecator. I have been sent to defecate your room," you know, like the Terminator. And he'd just drop a log in your room and run off. And you just,
oh my God.
But no one ever found out who he was, but it was the defecator.
It was fucking... The army recruited some fucking weirdos.
Fucking...
Like...
I'm telling you now, I've met some of the fucking weirdest people through my army career. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Did you meet any weirdos?
Damo.
Mike
Cheats is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weirdos.
And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, "Oh, I fucking never met any weirdos," it's probably because you're the fucking weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. We had this bloke called fucking, what was his name? Umps, and my other mate Stapes in Germany had a hamster in a cage, and I remember Umps just ran into his room, went, "What the fuck's that?" "It's a hamster." He went, "Brilliant." Grabbed the hamster, I mean, I love animals, so I wasn't happy with this. And he just fucking ran downstairs, and he had one of them little Zundap fucking mopeds, and he shoved the hamster up the exhaust pipe and went, revved it till it fucking popped out all black and dead. I'm like, who are these fucking people? Where did they come from? It was worse before the options for change. So you had like 22-year troopers or 22-year fucking private soldiers. They were just fucking. That was their life, you know what I mean? But then after options for change, they got rid of all that, didn't they? You had to get a bit of rank. But that's why you had so many maniacs living in Germany. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. We had, talking of 22-year sappers, we had this, well, he was down at our regiment at Water Beach in the stores, G10 for men. And he was like, I don't know, at this point he was probably like an 18-year sapper. And his name was Weebs. And no word of a lie, the old Combat 95 shirt, he had to sew two of them together to fit round his fucking body. He was like medically downgraded. I think when things changed, he basically it was like, no, you need to go. You're not a soldier.
Yeah, brown envelope. That's what it was. You used to get the brown envelope, didn't you?
Yeah, the brown envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that, 2 Combat 95 shirts sewn together.
I mean,
like, fucking hell.
Damo, he was in Cyclops Squadron. They was like opposite. I was in Badger Squadron. They was in the block opposite. And there was a room. And it wasn't a room. It actually happened. Someone had a pet rabbit in the block. Yeah. Which was fucking weird anyway. And then someone...
Says the man who had a snake.
Yeah, but who has a rabbit in the block? Someone with very white teeth. And a nice tan. Apparently had a samurai sword. Yeah. Fucking chops it up.
Fucking hell.
In the block, this poor like new lad with his rabbit.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. And that new lad, he could suck his own cock.
Nice.
Quality.
Yeah, he makes some funny people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know what to say about it.
There was a lad who had an iguana as well. And it was probably about 5 foot long.
Yeah.
Someone grabbed it by his tail.
I bet it fucking went through him.
No, they come off.
I did it.
But they don't grow back properly. It'll grow back, but like a little Jeremy Beadle hand.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Nice. Any more block stories?
No.
I was on stag once on a Saturday night outside Hona, and my mate's older brother was in the Queen's Owners Ours. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just on fucking stag, and he comes walking. He goes, "Oh, all right, how you doing?" I'm sound. And he had a crate full of rabbits. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with them? I know. I said, "What are them? Rabbits." Not another word was said. Just walking in, sat down, a crate full of fucking rabbits. What was he going to do with them? Fuck those. Probably just threw them around the block or something. Fucking crazy.
Yeah. I had a mate, Danny, and he had because the Scotch Dragoon Guards were next to us.
Yeah.
He managed to get a Scotch Dragoon Guards chef's uniform. Yeah. So the berry, cat bat, everything. And he used to go in their camp robbing stuff. And they had like a tankard in their RHQ. And apparently it was from the Battle of Waterloo or something like that.
Bloody hell.
And he used to drink his tea out of it.
Fucking hell.
He used to go and rob stuff. Yeah.
Quality.
Right, should we talk about D-Day?
Yes.
What you got on it?
There was 129,000 troops took part in D-Day.
Yeah.
It started in the early hours when 23,400 airborne troops landed inland.
Yeah.
They was securing bridges and taking out artillery and stuff like that. There was 3,000 landing craft.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I see that. 3,000.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah. You know the tanks that floated?
Yeah.
Those called DD tanks, duplex drive. There was 176 of them launched from the ships, and only 121 made it to shore. 55 sunk at sea.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. There were so many vessels, ships, boats. They recruited, well, not recruited, but like civilian boat masters, like fishing boats and like flat bottom barges and that were going across, weren't they? Just like whatever you could get your hands on.
It's unbelievable. But I think it's Omaha Beach. I don't think any of the tanks got ashore. They sunk.
Yeah.
Because the water was a bit rougher than what they was hoping for.
Yeah.
But it's estimated that 5,000 Allied troops and 9,000 German troops died on D-Day.
Yeah.
And it's estimated that 20,000 French civilians died. And that's just on June the 6th.
Yeah.
So all these casualties are just June the 6th.
Yeah. Because obviously D-Day was part of well, it was the initial invasion and start of Operation Overlord, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was to flush out from the beaches headed south. And like you mentioned about the weather there. So I remember. So it was things like obviously the weather with the moonlight in, and hopefully the weather conditions were all right. And it was such a pinpoint operation, wasn't it? And it had started years before with disinformation and building like docks and that, weren't they? And fake docks.
There was Royal Tank regiments of fake tanks.
Yeah.
So these were like infantry regiments that have been decimated. What was left, they used them. Just odds and sods. You're now the Royal Tank Regiment, 51st Royal Tank, and their job was to have the inflatable tanks in Kent and Sussex and things like that. Just it's a proper job.
And you hear the stories about the blokes getting off the landing crafts and the sea was red, like with blood.
Yeah.
Like just getting over your mate.
Well, I went there last July, me and my mate Fox Piss, and we stayed on Juno Beach on a hotel.
Yeah.
Which was, they say it's the Canadian sector, and it was, but there was also a lot of British there as well.
Yeah.
I think it was 50-50. But there was we found an Avery, a Churchill Avery, the Royal Engineer tank.
Yeah.
And it was, we got a photo of it, me and Ginge, because it was the first tank. We got a photo of us with a Royal Tank Regiment flag. But when we looked into this tank, it was from the 26th Assault Squadron Royal Engineers attached to the 7th Canadian Army Brigade.
Yeah.
And it got stuck as soon as it got off the beat. It went straight down a crater. The crew bugged out, and most of them got killed by German mortar fire. And I say most of them got their names here: Lance Sergeant Cecil Ashton, and then sappers Roy Manley and Alf Batson.
Yeah.
So they was killed by a German mortar fire. The final crew member, Bill Dunn, he died in 2014, and on the 8th of November 2014, his ashes were sprinkled on and around the tank.
Oh, nice.
He wanted to be with his crew.
Yeah, fair one.
I think it goes to show the sort of men, they probably didn't know each other that long. Especially me being a tanky. And probably was you on Warriors, Sleachy?
Yeah, Warrior.
Yeah, you're close to each other, aren't you? You're living very close.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, you get to know things that you wouldn't know about your silly mates you've known for years.
Yeah.
You get to know about their mums, their sisters, their cousins. You talk shit.
Yeah, it's fucking great. We was with a tankies a lot. In fact, I've got a bit of an apology for you tankies. If you've ever got in your DOS bags at night and found that they've been shot to shit, that was us. Sorry, that was us.
Yeah, one bullet makes about 60 holes when it's all forced into a little bin.
Couldn't fucking help it. Right, here come the tankies. Because I was with the SDGs a lot, obviously with the 7th Armoured Battle Group, and they used to put, because you've got limited space in your turret, put the DOS bags on the outside. We used to fucking just shoot the DOS bags.
Yeah. I got a bit of, so on Omar Beach, the German guns mowed down the first waves, and they reckon 90% of casualties in that opening wave, and still the blokes had to push through. Do you want some engineering facts?
Give it to me.
The Allies built 2 entire floating harbours, Mulberry harbours, that were towed across the Channel and assembled off the Normandy coast. Each one was the size of Dover.
Crazy.
Pluto pipeline under the ocean was laid across the Channel to supply fuel to Allied forces. They literally pumped petrol underwater to keep tanks rolling. And this is the thing. Obviously, the acts of courage of actually going on the beach.
Yeah.
But then all the fucking logistic shit behind it. Like
I know, they reckon 5,000 soldiers died, Allied soldiers. It's not that much, really, when you look at what they did.
Yeah.
When you look at the days after that, for instance, not many people have heard of Hill 112. My wife's granddad was killed there. And I think 10,000 British and Commonwealth soldiers died taking a hill.
Yeah.
And they had to give it up because there was a storm that wiped out one of the Mulberry harbours temporarily, so they couldn't resupply the hill.
Yeah.
So they had to give it up and then take it again a week later. It's just, the numbers are just unbelievable.
Have you seen, I know you mentioned the other week about going to watch war films and that, and I ain't really a fan of war films, but I did watch that opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. It's fucking incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just imagine being there, like fucking explosions going off around you, and it's like, and it ain't fun running through sand anyway. But fucking.
Yeah. But what shocked me, because when I was over there last year, we done Sword Beach, Gold Beach, Sword, Gold, Juno, Sword and Gold are British, Juno, and then Omaha.
Yeah.
Omaha's very rural, if you like. It's just cliffs, But Sword and Gold, they're going straight into a town. There's houses right on the beach. You know, it's so different. Gold Beach was just so big. It went over. I think it's over miles. It spread.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's phenomenal. I believe Juno. I know everyone thinks Omaha was the bloodiest.
Yeah.
And in terms of casualties, it was. However, there was a lot. I think 28 off the top of my head, 28,000 troops landed, whereas Juno, I think there was 14,000 landed.
Yeah.
Ratio wise, Juno was the deadliest. And yeah, when you look at the pictures after, there's crashed planes on the beach.
Yeah.
Planes were getting shot down on the beach. Like,
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, because they landed airborne forces in as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it said here some airborne troops landed over 10 miles off target due to bad weather and anti-aircraft fire.
But one for the paras here, to piss the paras off, Pegasus Bridge,
Yeah.
where no para was injured. No, the glider pilots from the Ox and Bucks light infantry.
Yeah.
Then the green jacket. I think it's the 3rd Battalion green jackets, and they had the rifles. Where the pilots landed the gliders, it's unbelievable. It's next to. It's like literally within 100 metres of the bridge they landed it, and I think it was only a few of them died because they took the Germans by such surprise, and then I think German counter attack coming along with armour, and they managed to take one of these tanks out with a Piat. And the Germans thought we had tanks, so they backed off.
Yeah.
And it's just like a bit of luck, really, because they was light infantry, you know, fighting up against armour.
Yeah.
But I think they called their bluff, sort of thing.
Well, one for the paratroopers again. One paratrooper landed on the church steeple in Saint Mary Église and played dead for hours while watching the fighting below.
Well, not him, but they've got a paratrooper hanging.
He's there, isn't he, every year, the paratrooper on the...
Yeah, they hang him up.
Fair play.
What's this one? A British commando unit landed with bagpipes.
Yeah, that was on Sword Beach.
Piper Bill Millen marched up and down Sword Beach playing Highland Laddie under fire. Fucking mad, isn't
There's
it?
a memorial for him there. What's funny, where his memorial is, there's bunkers that are now houses, and they've got double glazing windows in the machine gun sort of slits.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, like PVC windows.
They've got the double glazing so they don't hear the bagpipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently the first French house liberated was a pub.
Was that would have been Pegasus Bridge?
And the owner offered the paras a drink before they'd even taken off their helmets. And then his daughters offered to pull off their helmets.
Quite rightly so.
But yeah, Pegasus Bridge, there's a little cafe bar thing at Pegasus Bridge, and it's still there. You can have a drink in there. So.
Yeah, and I mentioned a minute ago about the intelligence operation that went on before it, because they'd sent out obviously duff information, because there was a proposed plan for D-Day to take place on the south coast of France and Italy down there, and there was another one for up near Norway. But these plans were like well formed, because it was like we had to make it believable.
Yeah. And I suppose it's probably one of them OPSEC things. The people who were making these fake plans probably got told it's real, because they wanted it to be serious. If they go down the pub and tell them, mate, we're making this fucking bullshit plan up, word gets out. But I believe the BBC released what was happening the day before.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I heard a rumour.
Is that BBC again, Sleachy? What's that?
Don't want to talk about them.
Here's a story, not for D-Day, but when I was at Buckingham Palace last week, I was sat there and this bloke was in a wheelchair. He come past us. My mate Mick, I think Mick's in his 70s, ex-tanky. He went, look at that bloke. He's got a long-range desert group badge on his blazer. Okay. And then his carer said, Jack, they just heard you. They've just noticed your regiment. And he come over, wheeled over. And he's the last remaining bloke from the long-range desert group. His name was Jack Mann. Nice. And I think he's 100 in September. But what a lovely bloke. He's a Jewish bloke.
Yeah.
Which is, it's lovely for probably stick your fingers up at the Germans. The last member of the long range desert group, but he was also in the SAS and the SBS.
Bloody hell!
So I bet he's got a story to tell. But, really nice bloke. But I think he's going to meet up with Mick again. So
what was do you know the bloke that officer we met from the Tank Regiment Association at the VE Day concert?
He wasn't an officer.
Oh, wasn't he? Bloody hell.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's troop or lance check.
Right. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Bob Swinny Arscott. I mentioned it before. His dad fought on D-Day.
Yeah.
In a grey uniform.
For the Germans.
Yeah, he was a Polish farmer, I think he said his dad were, and he got captured in 1939, stuck in a bunker on Omaha Beach.
Nice.
And he said as soon as The Germans turn up, they try to throw their rifles away and run away.
The Allied forces, surely.
What did I say?
The German forces.
Sorry, the Americans, when the Americans turn up, he was trying to get away. I've got a funny feeling there was only something like 28 people defending Omaha Beach as well.
Oh, was it? It makes me sad because, like, the youth. I know we've spoken about it before with VE Day and the youngsters of today not appreciating these, but I think I read something, and this was years ago. I read something somewhere that more youngsters nowadays, they know what the 4th of July means rather than the date of D-Day, and it's like, fucking hell, schools have got so much to answer for, haven't they?
Yeah. And talking of the airborne side of things as well, there's a church, I can't remember the name of it, but it's just in the middle of nowhere. But you go in there and there's still stains on the pews, and they reckon that's blood.
Oh, you showed me a picture of that, didn't you?
There's still blood stains, and they was using it as like a hospital, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. And if you get over there, like, there's so much to do, but all the museums are great. The Airborne Museum is good. The American one, the Pegasus Bridge Memorial Museum is really good. They're all great, to be fair. And me and my mate Ginge, we went from Portsmouth to Ouistreham. It's like a 6-hour ferry crossing, but Ouistreham is Salt Beach. And there's not a lot there, but there's enough, you know. And if you're driving, that's a good place to start. And there's a massive bunker there; it's huge. And you go in there, and it's a museum. It's just, there's so much to do everywhere you go. And it's good. It's funny though, because the French have got a reputation for being rude, and they are. But we was trying to get a cup of tea. Me and Ginger, and they just like, we're going, tea? No, I don't know what it is. And then on the window there was a soldier with like painted on the window.
Yeah.
British soldier, Union Jacks, and he had a teapot and a couple of saucer in his hand. And I said, like that? No. So I spoke to my mate Tom, who's French. I said, how'd you say tea in French? He went, tea.
Yeah.
So they're just being French.
Yeah. Well, maybe they didn't have
Yeah,
any
they're
teeth.
fucking. No, that's bollocks. That is, because they can be a bit funny French. I know there was this old geezer, really old, and he went over to France. This isn't too long ago, and went over on a ferry. And when he got there, he got to the French customs, and the French customs said, "Passport, please, monsieur." And old Bill, whatever his name is, went, I ain't got a passport. He went, well, French customs said, you've got to have a fucking passport. You know, he goes, the British have to show their passports when they come to France. He went, well, the last time I came in 1944, there wasn't any French people to show my passport to.
So interesting. My sister lives in France, down in the centre, and I think just south of her, Vichy. That Vichy was the southern capital because the German, I don't know, basically there was German occupied, then Allied occupied. I don't know how it worked, but so that they obviously Armistice Day is quite a big deal for them. It's a public holiday in France, and I was over there one year on Armistice Day, and they have like their local village memorial, and they obviously the village comes out and remembers and that, and the mayor of the village obviously takes this act of remembrance. So the poppy is like a British thing mainly for remembrance, and my sister had one of those crosses with a poppy on, and she goes up to the mayor after the service and says, is it okay if we put our British poppy down on the thing? And he says, yes, of course. And my sister says, thank you. And he turns around and he says, it's not you that should be thanking me. It's me that should be thanking you. And, like, I know the French get bad press, but I think certain generations of French, like, they remember, or there's stories that were...
I don't think a lot of them mean to be rude. It is just how they are.
Well, imagine how the English come across. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny, like, every 5 years I go to Camaraderie, the Royal Tank Regiment, big parade, and I've been in a pub and we're buying a few rounds, and then the landlord buys you a drink.
Yeah.
But he seems rude the way he's doing it, and he's buying us. He's not being rude, but
have this fucking drink.
Yeah, and it's almost, he's almost like that. I don't know. It's the French, isn't it? They're not going to change for anyone.
It's the same with the Germans, isn't it? When was
I want to be careful.
it's the same with the Germans when we was living in Germany. Everyone just go, oh yeah, the Germans are fucking horrible. They are. Yeah, I'm not surprised because they got battalions of troops fucking terrorising their towns and cities. Like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I did hear a thing. There was on D-Day, as soon as they'd land on the beaches, there was this would have been on one of the American beaches. There was a whole regiment just of black guys, And what their job was, they had these balloons, and under fire they had to fill these balloons with whatever they were, launch them like 400 meters in the fucking air, but dangling from the balloons was like wire cables. So when the Luftwaffe sent the planes in to shoot at the beaches, these wire cables were just ripping the wings off the fucking off the Luftwaffe's aircraft. That quality, there's so much.
Yeah, it's mad that
Yeah.
black regiments, isn't it? It's like they're not good enough to fight, but they're good enough to do chefs and things like that. It's just
Well, it was that thing, wasn't it? When the Yanks joined in, it was like they tried telling British publicans that this has to be a white only bar, and obviously that like it wasn't. I'm not saying that racism didn't exist in the UK. I mean, it still fucking does now, but it was a lot less prevalent compared to the States. Certainly, there was no segregation of bars and that, and like the British landlords. were like,
Yeah,
"Nah,
the
that ain't
British
fucking
troops would
happening."
never be having any of that nonsense, would they?
So the muckers remembered this week. Steve went off and interviewed the head of Stevenage Borough Council, Richard Henry, because his father, was it Steve?
Yeah.
Fought on D-Day.
Yeah, he was a medic.
So we're going to listen to Steve catching up with Richard. All right, Steve, we're going to do a Muckers Remembered, but we've cut in because we're having to... Somebody made us a promise, didn't they? And we got let down on the Muckers Remembered for the VE Day special.
It's a shame because their dad was a medic and he fought on D-Day on the beaches, so it would have been a nice touch to share his name.
Do you reckon he thought we had ulterior motives?
Who knows? I'm going to mention one of my friends, my mate, Corporal Darren Nielsen. We all knew him as Daz. He was from Blackburn and he was in the Royal Tank Regiment. He was in the 1st, then the 2nd, and then when they amalgamated just the Royal Tank Regiment. I spent time with Daz in the UK and Canada on exercises, tank ranges, and in plenty of pubs all over the place. He was a proper lovely bloke, really nice bloke. And unfortunately, he was involved in an incident in Wales on a Challenger 2 range on the 14th of June 2017. And sadly, he lost his life the next day on the 15th. I'll always remember him. He was a lovely bloke, he really was. I'll see you in the green fields, mate.
So he died on a tank range?
He did, yeah. There was an accident. There was 2 lads that died, and I didn't know the other lad, but Daz was my mate. Yeah, I believe he was the commander, and I believe he died from. I think it was the tank. It was a bad practices we used to do as a tank crew. Corners we used to cut, and unfortunately, it cost them their lives. And but I don't think these corners are cut anymore. And it was like a macho thing, see how fast a loader could load the gun. And I say you cut corners, and that's what happens, unfortunately. I believe that's what happens. I don't know the ins and outs of it anyway. That's what I was told. But I think it was a demonstration because they was all very senior people. I think there was a sergeant major in the tank, which doesn't normally happen. It was they was all instructors, and I think because they were so senior, maybe they got complacent. I don't know, or something was missed, and the seal that seals the breach wasn't fitted, which was a standard thing everyone does, but for some reason it was missed. There must have been a flash, and then it caught the ammunition that was probably stowed where it shouldn't have been stowed, caught it alight and massive. I don't think it really explodes. It's just a very high temperature fireball, and I believe he was trying to get out as it blew him out, and I think he died from falling injuries.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show that military life is dangerous. You don't have to be at war.
No, definitely. A lot of people die on exercise. Yeah. Same as when you come back off a tour, all you hear about is people having car crashes, motorbike crashes. It's just a part of military life, unfortunately.
Yeah, I get that. Well, thanks for doing that with short notice. We'll head back to the show now.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a bit. And now we're back from that, and I don't know what's going to have been said, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it's good, that.
Steve?
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Thanks for that, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Yeah. Show business.
Bravo Zulu.
Bravo Zulu. The Bravo Zulu shout out this week. I don't know. Is there any organisation you know of?
Well, the
Sleachy?
missus she works a thing called Salute My Jobs, which is good, and it's started by that Brigadier Andrew Jackson. And basically, what it is, it's my missus runs like boot camps for veterans coming out who want to get into cyber security and stuff like that, and it's all free. She gets them on free boot camps, and then gets them in interviews with companies, and hopefully gets them into employment.
So I've actually, because I've got a to-do list, and Amanda, that's your wife, isn't it? Maybe we'll do a Beyond the Wire. Get more details from her.
Yeah, she's quite scary.
Sounds great.
So what? So it's specifically for people that are leaving the forces, or is it? And if they've signed off and they're doing their resettlement, they can get in contact with your missus.
Yeah, oh fuck knows.
What was
You'll
the
have
website?
to speak to her about that. I don't know.
Don't call me fuck knows.
It's called Salute My Jobs, and it's not just for people leaving. It's for veterans as a whole.
Yeah.
It's all just based for veterans, getting them into employment, getting them trained up, and that type of stuff. She'll be able to tell you more about it. I'm a bit of a fucking spaz when it comes to that.
So just for your information, Sleachy, it is SMJ Consulting Services. So their website's smjconsulting.co.uk, and they've got various pathways for different roles for veterans, people leaving the services, which also includes a fast track cyber security thing. So
what I did.
Now you can, here you go, you need to remember that, and then you can impress your wife later on when she comes in and go, oh yeah, SMJ Consulting, babe. Yeah, I know. I'm
gonna.
Like, what the fuck?
Because what I would say to people who are leaving with your resettlement is do things like that. You know, get I didn't,
especially if it's free.
Yeah, anything. Obviously, when I left it and we left, there wasn't as much out there. If you like, it wasn't as easy, as accessible.
Yeah,
we didn't have smartphones and stuff, but. I would definitely recommend do your resettlement, but do all these other bits.
Yeah, there's a lot of future in like the cyber stuff and that. There's always going to be work in there, like with AI. I mean, it's rolling now.
Yeah.
Well, that American Marine we done a podcast with ages ago. That's what he does in Norway. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did he tell us that? Did he?
I don't know. He told me that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Maybe I weren't listening.
Funny, Rab's got us lined up with another Yank.
Has it?
Yeah.
What's he do?
I don't even know. I can't remember. Reb did tell me, but
oh yeah. I was going to say about that. Just reminded me of something, but it doesn't matter because there's only 5 days left of the auction for the signed football shirts, and by the time this goes out, it'll already have been finished.
We've got a Birmingham, haven't we? West Brom.
What West Brom pennant?
Same thing, isn't it?
No, you're right. West Brom bagel.
It's for charity, mate. Help the veterans. Right.
We're all good, aren't we?
What? So, I think it's been. Did you like your surprise that I set up?
Yeah.
I know it didn't fucking run that smoothly, but what can I fucking do? Right.
I would have to do more of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Bank holiday, don't it?
Bank holiday. That's why I fucking messaged him last week, and I said, it's a bank. Me and Steve were recording on Monday. It's a bank holiday. You working? I want to get you on to give him a little surprise.
Yeah, always. I love, lads, anything I can ever do to help you boys, I'll do it because you're quality.
Oh, there's an offer.
Spread the words. We want more.
Yeah, share it on Facebook. Share it fucking
more
down
input
the pub.
from other people as well.
Yeah.
Here, mate, send the stories in.
But they need to be tight stories. Fucking no chewing your fucking whatever.
Sit down and put your crisps down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear your lungs first.
So what are we doing what we spoke about today? We spoke about D-Day.
Life in the block.
Life in the block.
We spoke about
salute my jobs.
Salute to troops.
Salute my job.
Salute my job. Yeah, a bit of support there. We've had a bit of news.
Steve's antics over the last week.
Yeah. I haven't even covered it all yet. I'm saving a bit for. I was in France all last week, so I'll bring that up next time.
Yeah. And we spoke to Richard Henry, the leader of the Stevensborough Council.
Yeah.
obviously, if you're listening to this, it could be D-Day, because I know every time I release an episode, there's usually about 40 people that fucking straight on it.
Yeah.
Sleachy's probably one of them.
I say when we didn't release one that first time, people was like, "Where is it? Where is it?" I felt like I was at an addiction place. And people waiting for their methadone.
Where is it? But yeah, if you're listening to this, fucking, I don't know, what can I do? Share it on Facebook with and celebrate. Put a message about D-Day.
Yeah.
Fucking celebrate. Tell your kids. Tell your fucking neighbours' kids. Tell random kids in the street about D-Day.
Watch Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
I see a thing the other day. It's about the most hated man in the military, and it was Private Upham.
Okay.
You know the clerk who's the coward in Saving Private Ryan. When the bloke's getting stabbed in the end by the German, he's just hiding in the corner.
I'll be honest with you, Steve. When I said I watched Saving Private Ryan, I watched the opening scene and then got bored. So I stopped watching it.
Fair enough.
I've got like the attention span of a fucking fish.
I think that was filmed in the UK, wasn't it?
I don't know. Probably. Could be.
Yeah.
Is Sleachy still there?
I don't know, his camera's off.
He's gone, isn't he? His battery was going flat.
Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
We had a good laugh with him, didn't we?
Yeah, I enjoyed having it.
Yeah, man, I'm still here.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's still
Yeah.
He was playing tricks on us. What the fuck? Is he tricking us again?
Yeah.
What's going on, Sleachy?
Now, I've absolutely fucking loved it, lads. It's brilliant. Like I say, anything I can do, give us a shout.
So after this one goes out, so we've got next week will be we're talking to Military v Cancer on Beyond the Wire, but the next episode of the Muster Point podcast is going to be on
June the 6th.
No. They're listening to this now. What's the topic for the next one?
Oh, sorry. Excuses for getting out of PT. That's your lot for today. Thanks to everyone that got involved. For all those that sit on the fence, get involved. I guarantee you'll enjoy being part of the Muster Point.
100%. We love receiving videos, voice notes, but a text or email is just as good. Send your nonsense to steve@themusterpoint.org.uk and your serious stuff to stu@themusterpoint.org.uk.
Voice notes, DMs, Morse code. Find us on Facebook at the Muster Point Veterans, X at the Muster Point, TikTok at the Muster Point, and YouTube, the Muster Point Veterans.
Next time we want to know the best excuses for getting out of PT or anything for that matter. Was it your goldfish ate your silver shadows or that your wife borrowed your Ron Hill runners for Pilates? Let us know. Subscribe,
Rate the podcast, share it with your mum that used to wonder why your socks were as hard as a boomerang when you. Subscribe, rate the podcast, share it with your mum that used to wonder why your socks were as hard as a boomerang when you brought your Dobie home on leave.
Until then, parade. Fall out.
See you next time. Love you, Diamond Geezers.